Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 5. It's really cool to be casting a long series for a change, and it is between two spectacular Zerg players on a pretty unusual map, but we'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, in the left hand position, spawning as the blue Zerg player from Team Acer, we have Nerchio. And his opponent up in the top right position, the red Zerg from Team Liquid, Nerchio, TLO. Wow, I messed up those intros, didn't I? That was pretty damn poor, but it's because I'm so freaked out by this map. It's an OGN official map. I think it's Guangali Beach, is how you say it, but yeah, it's pretty funky. Like, this is all looking fairly normal still, right? Like, this is where things start getting a bit odd, though. Okay, so you got your natural, you have your third, with some unbuildable plates on it. You also have this other third/fourth, which is slightly further away, but is protected by some destructible rocks and a very small path around the back, so incredibly tight chokes everywhere. There's also this funky little thing. There's like a highway going straight towards your opponent's base, should you want to, which is completely separate to everywhere else, all the other ways through. Don't have to go past the deck chairs and all that sort of shenanigans. You can just run around, but of course then you're massively out of position. So this is a pretty unusual map, to say the least. I'm also not 100% sure if you can run over this area. I'm guessing you can, because you can build a base in there. So I'm guessing you can come around here. This is where really the cliffs are. So yeah, pretty funky map. Gonna be pretty cool. Not quite sure how it's gonna work out. There's also some side bases around here. There's also a really cool sign here, which is meant to say, I believe, perfect size storm, silent takeover. So that's pretty awesome. There's also a cool little like balcony garden up here, roof garden. That's pretty cool. So yeah, fairly cool map. Anyway, we do see the hatch coming down, as well as some Zerglings coming out here from Nerchio. So he's playing an aggressive, very aggressive, only 11 drones, and he's just pumping links now. So this basically just means that TLO, he's got to play a fun game of don't die, which is always a little bit awkward. Zerglings running through the water are very cool. But yeah, here they come. They're on their way in. TLO, of course, still doesn't have his spawning pool finished. So that means drone micro to the max. And behind this, Nerchio just taking his expansion, TLO is going to have to pull off a bit of a miraculous defense, but does have 6 additional drones. So can afford to lose this hatchery for the moment. He probably will cancel it, but just at the last second. Nerchio, interestingly, focusing this, is giving TLO time to get out a couple of Zerglings, which should aid with his defense. This drone is going to die. It's a bit of a knock-on, but of course, Nerchio, he's still a far fewer workers, and yeah, his own hatchery is quite delayed. But one drone is going to go down there, and the important thing here for TLO is that he doesn't lose too much. Gets a nice little bit of drone micro on, but is still losing a couple of workers. Nerchio dealing enough damage now to really level this out and actually take the lead. 3 worker lead there for Nerchio, plus the expansion is down earlier. So this early aggression definitely paying off now for Nerchio, but TLO should be able to clean it up and really level things out. But he's got his gas up. He's just slowly going to be getting that trickle income much before we get it from Nerchio for the time being. Just still the one Zergling of Nerchio going to be running its way through, and that's all very frustrating and the sort of things that you don't want to be having to deal with. But TLO re-expanding a lot later now than that of Nerchio, so Nerchio definitely got a lead at the moment, but TLO going to try and level that out by sending some of his Zerglings scurrying through the water, all happy and slightly submerged as well. Like, I don't know how they're running at the same speed when like a good 60-65% of their body is submerged. Maybe that's something to try and work out. That'd be a cool map mechanic, wouldn't it? Like a slow area. That'd be swish. Anyway, we do see, of course, Zerglings coming in. They're going to try and get this round on the Queen, then realise there are some reinforcing Zerglings, and they are not going to be able to achieve it. So that counter-aggression from TLO does nothing. 0 zilch, absolutely no damage at all. But TLO has been able to secure up speed behind this. He's busy getting down his natural, which is about 2/3 done, but he's still behind Nerchio. We can't get around that fact. So Nerchio, he's still just sitting up here, injecting as quickly as possible. He's got a good number of Zerglings out, but not too many. Interestingly for Nerchio, though, still no gas. He hasn't taken a single gas geyser yet this game, which means no Banelings, no Zergling speed. And that could leave him a little bit vulnerable, especially with TLO now flooding out 10 more Zerglings. before his natural has finished. Speed will be done, and this is going to be a big little push coming in. And I know that was an oxymoron, a big little push, but it's not a sizable all-in yet from TLO. He's only getting, say, 12 Zerglings out. But with speed, it's still pretty scary. Not many Zerglings, but with speed against slowlings only, that can be quite awkward to defend. But Nerchio is sending one lone Zergling forward, but TLO not having any of that does reveal that he's got speed with the Zerglings already out. He's got in total 19 lings on the field, and now a couple of evolution chambers going to try and go down, but unable to do so. One drone gets taken out there. Another spine caller very quickly gets made, but TLO flooding in now with a lot more Zerglings. What's he going to go for? Will it be drones? Yes, it is. He's ignoring the queens for the time being, just trying to pick those off, and actually Nerchio not coming to defend it. TLO is within one single drone of his opponent. He needs to kill one more to take that small lead, and is he going to be able to do it? Well, yes, he will. Drones are starting to fall. They're still streaming around with these Zerglings as quickly as possible, utilizing that Zergling speed advantage as much as possible, to slowly coming in, engaging, disengaging, waiting to make sure that there's not too many more lings coming in, that this is just a small amount from TLO, and probably not enough to be terrifying. But TLO now, a single, or was for a second, a single drone ahead. Very, very close game at this stage, and in terms of resources lost, TLO has only lost a little bit more than his opponent, but he's taking a big risk by trying to secure that third nice and early on. Nerchio, of course, is going to try and shut that down. He's coming even up to check about that. A couple of Zerglings are rerunning back in, but only a couple of them is not enough. This third is definitely going to be forced to cancel, because there just isn't anything that TLO can do in order to save that, especially at this stage when he doesn't have many Zerglings out. But he's going to keep it going for as long as possible, just to keep those Zerglings distracted while he gets up his Baneling Nest and tries to get out a few defensive lings. But now Nerchio's starting to make his way back down, going to come in, and well, even with these evolution chambers, I think there's still a gap there with the queen, but no, the queen just filling it. That is so ridiculously close, but the evolution chamber is taken down, and well, that's where we start seeing some damage done. The queen surrounded, and of course Nerchio quickly taking this out. We can see there was quite a few observers in this game, but yeah, the queen down is a big loss for TLO there, because he's suddenly only got a single queen to inject out of, compared to the double inject from Nerchio. And of course Nerchio, he's even got that third queen there, just for the added defense, for a bit of creep spread between the bases, but no attempt to take a third. The lair, though, is nearly finished up. A lot of roaches coming out, plus of course roach speed now getting started with the +1. That's fairly scary. The double spine crawler is going to try and stop this push, but TLO morphing in 6 Banelings. He's going to be going for the push any second. It can all be seen by these overlords. Nerchio knows precisely what is coming at him. His roaches are trying to get into a nice position. The spine crawlers trying to wall off, but unfortunately don't do so when they're uprooted, and that means that TLO able to stream through the Banelings, heading straight for the drones. Are they going to be able to get the connections they need? No is the answer. Only one connecting with the drones, and of course it takes 2 to kill it. TLO trying to resecure up that third, but the roaches now for Nerchio pushing forward, and when we consider the fact that the roach run is only half done for TLO at the moment, he's defending this just with Zerglings and Banelings, and that's going to be very difficult when we already see 15 roaches out on the field. Roach speed is getting very close to completion, and as well as that +1 missile attack, which is going to really help these roaches deal maximum damage. So will TLO be able to hold once again? He's made some good holds so far. This ZvZ very, very close, but TLO losing a lot more than his opponent while mining less is never the way you really want to go. The third getting secured by Nerchio behind this, knowing that if I push out, hopefully my opponent will come back and defend and not go for a Zergling counterattack, which would allow me to secure it. But in now come these lings, a queen and a roach going to try and defend it. Meanwhile, the third for TLO finished, so no cancel is going to be available. The transfuse fantastic on that roach by Nerchio, making sure that it does stay up, and of course with the third going down, TLO now losing nearly triple the resources of his opponent. That is a big loss. +1 is done. Road speed is done. All for Nerchio. TLO really has to have a bit of a miracle here, especially with more roaches coming across the map. +1 really aiding in these engagements. The roaches for TLO outnumbered 2, and there is the GG. Nerchio will take game number 1 of this best of 5. So if you enjoyed that, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. Then flick over to my channel, and I'll see you at game number 2 in just a sec.